Hey queens, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the queendom, darling. Alright, so guys, I actually tried to curl my hair, then I tried to straighten it, and it's just a mess. I can't wait to get back home so my best friend can actually teach me how to maintain weaves, because child, I'm a lost cause. It's honestly embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? So anyway guys, welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? How you doing? I am feeling awesome today, and you can call me Pringle Babe child, because as you can see, Pringle. Guys, let me tell you, this is by far the best collab that I saw H&M have in their store. H&M X Pringle child, they took all my coins because all their pieces were so amazing. Anyway guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's get some things out of the way first. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. It's Lydia_MSM. So yeah, anyway guys, think back to a video that I uploaded recently. I think that's the one where I was chilling on the floor doing a little Q&A. I actually mentioned that I'm interested in recording a video where I basically address issues that I had. It's quite recent, but not really that recent, but I'll get into it right now. Issues that I had basically related to self-esteem issues, you know, body image issues, and obviously bullying, and how I overcame that and used the negativity to actually build my self-confidence and build my self-esteem back, honey, and being the queen that I am today. Okay, so that's what we'll be getting into today. So obviously, when I thought about recording this video, I was like, child, I have a lot of younger cousins who I know for a fact watch my videos because they're so cute. They actually record videos of themselves watching with their friends, and they share the videos with me, which I find so adorable. So anyway, I had to think long and hard and, you know, kind of decide whether I want to have this kind of content out on my channel, knowing that I have such young people who look up to me, who actually binge on my stuff, you know. But then I thought that they're actually in the prime of their teenagers, and obviously they are going to encounter some of the things that I dealt with, and I thought if I can have that sit down conversation with them, I can do it through my channel. So, you know, we're getting it done anyway. So yeah, anyway guys, I'll just take it back to where it really started. I would say my first experience of being bullied was in primary school. And I know that with some people, myself included, I think I actually overlooked that experience, and I felt like, oh girl, it was in primary school, come on, get over it, you know. But what I didn't realize, that emotional and psychological scars are actually more dangerous and more deeper than physical scars. Because with a physical scar, if you think about it, you get a paper cut or whatever, just using an example, you can see this the wound kind of healing, then you see the scab falls off, and your skin repairs itself and it's back to normal. It looks like you never got injured in the first place. But with emotional and psychological scars, they're like deeply rooted, that obviously you are going to develop some defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms, and most of the time that's you basically shelving your issues and boxing them up and shelving them. But what happens is that just because you're ignoring your feelings doesn't mean that they're not there. Just because you're ignoring your demons doesn't mean that they're not there. So what ends up happening obviously is that they pile up and pile up and pile up, and before you know it, the box is too full. It tips over and everything just spills out. Alright, so anyway, before I even continue with this video, it just hit me right now that I should put out a little disclaimer. I do hold a bachelor's degree in psychological counseling. However, I am not a licensed psychologist, darling. Not yet. We're working towards that goal, but not yet. So this is basically me just sharing my experience of what I went through and what contributed to me being the person that I am. Okay, little disclaimer. Let's get it out of the way. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, my first encounter or first experience of being bullied was in primary school. And when this happened, I think it started when I was around grade 3, and this person was older than me, and when she started bullying me, she was in grade 7, so she was about to transition out of the primary school phase and, you know, heading to high school. So for those who don't know, that's how our education system is structured in South Africa. We have grades 1 up till grade 7. That's like your primary school years, and then from grade 8 up to grade 12, that's your high school years. So yeah, anyway, she was, you know, heading out, but she taunted me, and she was literally doing the most. She was taking my money, you know, like proper bullying that you see in movies where this kid is getting bullied, getting shoved to the floor and whatever. She used to do all of that. And I guess because of the household that I came from, my parents are very strict, so I was very scared to actually tell them what was happening, because in my mind I was thinking they're probably going to whoop my ass for getting beat up. They're probably going to feel like, why the hell are you allowing her to do that to you? So anyway, I never told my parents about it, but then I was kind of hopeful that as soon as she leaves, I'm not going to have to deal with that. But child, when I say S used to come to my school anyway, even after she left, she used to come to the school. She used to come to the little bus port where we used to board our transport for school. She used to show up. She didn't miss a beat. She would show up at 7 o'clock because she knew that's the time that would be heading to school. So she'd show up, take my money, still do the same things, torment me and whatever. So yeah, that was very hectic. It was very intense, and it was very painful to be going through that. But like I said, I never told my parents about it. So what ended up happening is I decided that, okay, in order to make myself feel better about what was happening to me, I'm also going to find somebody I can bully. I need to find my own victim, which I am not proud of that decision, but back then that was my way of coping with the whole experience and dealing with it, because I couldn't tell my parents about it. I was scared to even tell my teachers, and I felt like even if I tell my teachers, she's no longer in the school, so what would I say? Oh, that girl that used to be here, like now she's gone. What am I possibly going to say to them? So yeah, anyway, I decided to actually victimize somebody else and bully somebody else and pick on somebody else who was younger than me, or somebody who in my eyes I deemed as weak, and I knew for a fact that she wouldn't stand up to me. And yeah, I'm not proud of that, but that's what happened, and that was a way I tried to cope and deal with the whole experience, like going through that. So when she'd take my money, I would get to school and take the girl's money. If she would beat me, I would get to school and, you know, try and hit the girl. But I'm not proud of that, and like whenever I sit down and think about it, I actually feel embarrassed that it got to a point where I decided to take out or redirect my frustrations and pain and project it onto somebody else, when I could have just dealt with it by telling my parents and getting it over and done with. But anyway, she was actually smarter than me, because she told her parents what was happening. I think that whole thing happened for a good month, going on 2, and she decided to tell her parents about it, and it got escalated to the school, and her parents actually came to my house to report the whole issue and told my parents what I've been doing to their kid and whatever. And obviously, you know how it goes. I got served, honey. I got served. Ooh, I got served. And then that's where I decided to just spill the beans, because I was like, there's no way they could understand why I did what I did without me actually just being honest about everything. And that's why I told my parents about what's been happening, and they actually knew the girl. It turns out that my dad knew the girl's father through some committees that they were a part of, whatever. And my dad decided he's not going to get involved, and he left everything to my mom. And I remember the following day, my mom, she is short just like me, but my mom took me to the boarding port girl, and the girl showed up. The girl had an alarm on her phone, honey, because every morning at 7 o'clock Mogehl was there without fail. That's how things happened. And my mom decided that, you know, in order for it to not be obvious, she didn't stand with me. She stood far away from me. You know, she just put the bait out there, and the girl took the bait, honey, and she got down to what she normally does. She started pushing me around, asking for my money and whatever. And my mom obviously walked up to her and confronted her about the whole thing, and it was messy, honey. Nothing happened in terms of it getting physical, but my mom actually told her off and cussed her the hell out. Okay, my mom told her that you should be happy that I'm actually a Christian, because if I wasn't, honey, you would be on the floor right now. And she's obviously, I mean, she was not a kid, she was old. She was one of those kids, you know, those people who you should have been out of school like 5 years ago, but you're still here because you keep failing your grades, and now you start picking on other kids. That was that situation. She was way too old to even be in primary school at the time. So yeah, anyway, my mom told her off, whatever, and that was the end of my nightmare in primary school for a short while. And obviously I stopped picking on the other girl because, you know, the only reason why I did that is to deal with my own trauma and what I was going through. So anyway, getting to high school, we know that high school can either make you or break you. Like, high school is just the wild west. High school, kera satani. High school is literally the pits. Okay, you either walk out of high school on some I'm that girl, or you walk out with scars and insecurities. That's what it is. So obviously getting into high school, you are going to get those instances where you experience bullying, but I wouldn't classify it as bullying. That's probably an exaggeration, but you do go through instances where, you know, for instance, you have a class clown and they're already playing the part by default. They just look the part, you know, they look the part. They look the part. I'm just gonna say that they look the part. So because they look the part, they already feel like there's nothing you can say to me to hurt my feelings, because I'm already a clown. They look the part. If you get me, you get me. If you don't, I guess, sorry girl. But they already look the part. So these kind of people feel like, I'm already a clown, I already look the part, like there's nothing you could possibly say to me that's new, that's gonna hurt me. They just don't care. So I would say in high school, it wasn't necessarily a bully like what I went through in primary school, somebody shoving you to the ground, taking your money, whatever, but it was just the jokes that were made about my physical attributes that really contributed to me having serious self-esteem and confidence issues. Jokes were made about my lips, jokes were made about my face. At some point, I think somebody made a joke saying that I am what did they say? Lumpy face? Yeah, I think that's what he called me, lumpy face or whatever. And jokes were made about my lips, jokes were made about my legs, and I feel like those jokes did really hurt me to a certain extent, but they didn't really stick like the jokes that were made about my boobs. Growing up, I started wearing bras like in primary school because I took after my aunt. I had boobies for days. I feel like the size of my boobs actually reduced a bit and they shrunk a bit with age, and I guess with exercises and some of the diets that I've been on. But I naturally have big boobs. I have humongous boobs. I mean, they're not huge. I feel like whenever I say this, people are like, oh, they're not, look at my boobs. That's not the point. The point is me looking at myself. When you consider the body mass index and whatever, I feel like my boobs are a bit on the bigger side for my body size, and that's just a personal opinion. Anyway, jokes that were made about my boobies were very painful. They were very personal, and they really scarred me, and they really affected the way I viewed myself. And I feel like because I already felt some type of way about my boobs, considering that my cousins who were my age, my friends who were my age, my classmates, a lot of the people didn't really have huge boobs, especially like my best friend didn't have boobs at all. So it's like when you're in that situation where you can't wear certain tops because, you know, your boobs, you need to wear sports bras because you need the compression and stuff. So that on its own for me was already a sore point, because I was just like, oh my god, I wish I had smaller boobs. My sister didn't even have boobs and she's 5 years older than me, you know. So on top of that, getting to high school and now being the center of, oh, breast cancer, because that's what the guy used to call me, vo breast cancer, whatever, vo BC, whatever. And I feel like when you're in class, when you're in high school, they think it's just harmless banter, it's just a few kiki moments in the classroom. But if it's something that you already have a complex about, or is something that you already have issues about, it's just exacerbated. So I feel like that's exactly what happened, that I already had a few issues with my boobs, and now getting to high school and, you know, you called breast cancer and stuff, oh, look at the size of your boobs, like breast cancer. It affected me because now I even changed the bag that I was carrying to school. I was no longer carrying a backpack because I felt like when you're wearing a backpack, it presses against your boobs and it actually exaggerates the size of my boobs. And so I opted for a side bag, and it's like one of those adjustments that I have to make. To some people it looks like, oh, she just likes carrying that bag. And I remember somebody asked me like, isn't it tiring to constantly have one shoulder weighed down by all your books? And I was like, I prefer carrying this bag. Girl, no. I hated carrying that bag, but I felt like I had to because it was just a horrible experience. Let me just say that. So yeah, that whole breast cancer BC breast cancer joke really stuck with me because it spilled over into adulthood. I just had insecurities and self-esteem issues. Jokes were made about my legs, the fact that I have a rugby player's legs and whatever. And I remember the most that I've done to cope with that, I used to every evening before I went to bed, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, every evening when I was taking a bath before I'd go to bed, make sure that the water is scorching hot, like boiling hot, and I'd soak my legs in the water, and then I'd start pricking my legs with needles. Because in my head I was thinking, by doing that I'm going to reduce the size of my calves, or I'm going to try to alter the appearance of my legs, and I'm not going to have to deal with that. So obviously with that I did develop a bit of a complex, and I thought to myself that if I am already dealing with the fact that I'm being called breast cancer because of the size of my breast, and you know, somebody thinks it's funny to call me lumpy face, somebody thinks it's funny to call me, you know, cracked lips or dark lips or whatever, nothing I can do with that because that's what they see every day anyway. That's a focal point. If I'm meeting you for the first time, you are going to see my face, you are going to see my lips, like that. There's nothing I can do about it. So I thought to myself that, you know, soaking my legs and pricking my legs with needles would actually reduce the size of my calves and stuff, and obviously that didn't work. I don't know what I was thinking, child. I was just going through the most. And so to just simplify everything, I hated high school. On the surface it looked like everything was okay because I was always laughing, you know, you just laugh along to the jokes just to deal with the whole thing and cope with it. So I remember that by the time I got to grade 11, everything was just too much for me to handle. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And that's the first time I had my breakdown, my mental breakdown. The first time I went through that was in 2009, because I matriculated in 2010, and that was the worst year of my life. I almost failed grade 11 because everything was just too much. And on the surface, like I said, it might have looked like, oh, it's okay and she's coping, but I wasn't. And I had my first mental breakdown in grade 11, which was 2009. And by that point I hated high school. I hated high school. I couldn't wait to be done with high school. I just hated being there. I hated it so much. So anyway, matriculated in 2010, and then in 2011 I took a gap year due to financial reasons. And so by the time I took the gap year in 2011, I had nothing to do. I was at home all the time. I was forced to confront my feelings, my emotions, my insecurities, all these different emotions and feelings that I had shelved. Now, you know, the box tipped over, like I said, and everything started spilling out. And that's where I had another meltdown, another mental breakdown, and it was a lot. And it's something that's very sensitive, obviously, but like I said, somebody who is very close to me almost went through the same thing recently, and that's why I decided to record this video, you know, to address these things, because sometimes we think surface level is just funny. It's not that deep, you know, it's just like 5 minutes of just kicking in class. But if it's really a sensitive or sore point for somebody, it really sticks, and it sticks with them. And like I said, the breast cancer joke really stuck with me, and you would never find me in a bikini, you would never find me in revealing outfits, you would never find me in tight hugging bodycon dresses or skirts. I hated anything that drew attention to my boobs and my legs, and that really affected me, because now it gets to a point where you start dating and it's just like, why do you have so many issues? And you don't even know how to make the next person understand where you're coming from, or all these emotions that you're dealing with. So because I realized in 2011 that being alone with my own thoughts was so dangerous to me, I decided to just bury everything. And you know, that's where I started breaking. I buried myself in work and got into a relationship. Then I kind of messed up some of my friendships because it was just the darkest period of my life. So I would say the point where I started forming a positive relationship with myself was around 2015. And that's where I started exercising the whole positive self-talk thing and positive affirmations, and I just stand in front of a mirror and say one nice thing about myself to myself while staring in the mirror, you know, just talking to my reflection. I started doing the whole positive self-talk thing, writing something nice about myself daily, and just trying to be vocal about all these things, saying it out loud, because the more I said it, the more I started believing it. You're beautiful. You don't have to prick your legs with needles. You don't have to wish you could saw your boobs off. You don't have to do all of those things. You don't have to walk around covering your lips because, you know, somebody called you a crack lip or whatever. You don't have to go around holding your cheeks, because there's a point, girl, there's a point where I would always do this, or I'll just be walking around like this, and I'm like, you don't have to do all of those things. You are beautiful as you are, and you need to love yourself, embrace yourself, love yourself and all your flaws. And that exercise really helped me to fall in love with myself again, start loving parts of myself that, you know, for years people were constantly reminding me that these parts of your body are so ugly and hideous and you should just hide them, just wear these long things and wear these long jeans and cover up and all of that. You know, I had to get to a point where I started loving myself. I started loving myself and realizing that I'm beautiful as I am. I'm beautiful, flaws and all. I should embrace my flaws. I'm imperfectly perfect, and just love myself. So now, getting to a point where you love yourself, I know that for people who meet you the first time, they might feel like, oh, she is cocky or whatever. Honey, I love myself. It's been a long journey for me to get to this point. I am 28 years old now, and now it's 2021. I would say the whole of high school, and then after I took my gap year, all the way till 2015. So I started high school in 2008. So you can imagine, from 2008 to 2015, it was just years and years of self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues, emotional and psychological scars that were there that I ignored to a certain extent to cope with life, and starting to love myself from 2015 going onwards. So you can understand that the past 5 years going on 6 been me trying to unlearn the bad habits and trying to unlearn the negative traits and tendencies and habits that I had. So basically having negative self-image issues, viewing myself in a negative light, looking at myself every day, picking something that I change about myself, and it's like you can't wish your lips away, you can't wish your legs away, you can't wish your booby size away. Yes, I mean, it's amazing that now we have that privilege of having cosmetic surgery, and we have all these different procedures that we can pay for to alter certain parts of our bodies that we don't like. But I would say I wanted to train myself to love myself all over again, and love myself, flaws and all. Love myself first, because by loving myself, somebody else coming into the picture to, you know, highlight this area about my body or my personality that they don't love, that's not going to do anything to me, because I'm like, you don't like my lips? I love them, darling. I love them, honey. You don't like my legs? Well, I love them, honey. I love them. You don't like my hands? I love them, sweetie. I love them, honey. You don't like my receding hairline? I love it, darling. You know, you get to a point where you form this healthy, positive relationship with yourself. You love yourself, you embrace yourself, you celebrate yourself on a daily. And I'm so glad that a few people have actually slid into my DMs, or even my friends, you know, they like, you are happy, you're so content, and you're so happy in your own skin and in your own body. You are so confident, and it actually translates through your videos and your vlogs, just how much you glow in, how you're smiling and how you carry yourself. And this is not the person that I was 8 years ago, you know. And for me, it's been quite a journey, and this is a milestone deciding to start a YouTube channel is no child's play, okay? Because end of the day, it doesn't matter that I have 5 subscribers or 20,000 subscribers. The point is you have a camera in your face and you're opening yourself up to the world, to criticism and scrutiny, and people can look at you and leave a comment, and if you do still struggle with self-esteem issues, that can literally undo all the work that you put in the past 8 years, and it just takes you back to that Lydia back in 2011 who was just feeling like crap all the time, you know. So starting a YouTube channel for me was also a way to actually, I would say, remedy my wounds and prove to myself that I've worked through all those issues and I'm okay with having myself and putting myself out there and having the world. Hello, 400 and how many subscribers do I have? 400 and wait, how many subscribers do I have? 422. Hello to my 422 subscribers, honey. That's my world. So having the world look at you, you just woke up, you have crusty lips, and you know, I'm not gonna jump up the first thing I'm thinking, let me, you know, brush up my eyebrows, because I don't want them to be all jacked up in my videos. So having a YouTube channel has also been a way for me to just watch some of my videos and I'm like, girl, you are crusty as hell, look at your knocked up edges, honey, but you still look cute, you are beautiful as you are. And I just love the space that I'm in right now, going from somebody who used to be scared of their own emotions and thoughts and feelings. I would avoid being alone at all costs because it would force me to face my demons and face my insecurities and just, you know, be at one with my emotions and my feelings, and that really scared me, to now being a person who would literally cancel on somebody at a drop of a pen because I'm like, I would rather be alone. You know, I'm just in a very healthy and happy place, and I'm so glad that it's got nothing to do with material possessions. It's got nothing to do with tangible things. It's all about me as Lydia and how I feel internally and just how I feel. My emotional state right now is just a healthy space to be in, and I'm loving every single moment of it. So yeah, I feel like this video has been all over the place, but I'm quite sure that a few people will relate, that we do have moments where, you know, you look in the mirror, you like, especially now in the day and age of BBLs and, you know, all these different things, and that's why I feel so responsible, for lack of a better word, for my younger sister and my younger cousins and their friends who look up to me, because I want to teach them that it's okay to not have an hourglass figure. I want to teach them that it's okay, honey, to not be a 1/8 ratio with ridiculous curves that don't even look natural. Okay, so now we live in the day and age where we idealize your Kylie Jenners, and these teenagers grow up admiring that, thinking that's the end goal and that's what my body must look like for me to be socially acceptable, or for me to even you know, be clustered or categorized as a sexy girl. And I want them to realize that flat ass, big ass, lumpy thighs, dunder thighs, skinny legs, kibo mamba, kiss kiss, what do you call it, knock knees, a little bit of a mustache, honey, receding hairline, dark knuckles, dark elbows. You are still beautiful as you are. You are still amazing as you are. Big boobs, flat chest, you are still beautiful as you are. And I feel like that's why I decided to record this video. I know that I'm probably putting myself out there, putting my emotions out there, but that's also another decision that I made, that I want my platform to be quite informative this year. I will still have the fun content like my vlogs and stuff, but I want my platform to be very informative, influential in a positive way, because now I know for a fact that I have a younger audience and I don't want to be a contributing factor to a young girl growing up thinking, oh, if I don't look this way or don't have ABCD, then I'm not enough, you know. So yeah, girl, anyway, we are confident, we are shining, we are flourishing, we are smiling, we are beautiful. You know, we don't have to always pop up with eyebrows done. We look beautiful as we are, and we need to celebrate ourselves, period. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat video. Sit down and chit chat with me, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to like, comment and share, and also subscribe and follow me on Instagram. It's Lydia_MSam. Let me take a selfie while we're at it. Yes ma'am, you look so cute. You are the girl you think you are. You are beautiful, flaws and all. Smile honey. Yes ma'am. Ooh. See you guys in my next video. Bye. Yes girl. Yes queen.